Hello everyone, Ceri Griffiths here, or as you know me, Ceri the Crafter. Now, you're probably going to say, what am I doing face to face? Well, first of all, welcome to part 3 of the envelope journal inspired by Darcy Sanders. Now, I want to pop on because there are a few things that I've struggled with, a few decisions I've made in this journal make, which I think it's fair to share with you. Firstly, I'm not finding this an easy journal make, and the reason for that is it's outside my comfort zone. However, I'm very happy to experiment and go outside my comfort zone because I think only by challenging what I normally do will I be able to find the extent of what I'm able to do, and it helps me develop as an artist. And some of you have quite kindly said, Ceri, we didn't realise you were struggling. That's just an overly confident voice, I think. I'm also finding that you're enjoying my methodical, systematic way of creating this, which, to be honest, I couldn't do any other way anyway, so it's not a choice, it is just what it is. So, parking that for a second. Now, I always edit and watch my videos back after I filmed them, just to make sure that there's nothing on there I don't want you to hear or see, or it's a happy viewing experience for you. Well, I watched video number 2 and I very nearly didn't post it. It was nearly 1 hour of me sticking envelope flaps to envelope flaps, and I really thought, that's really boring. However, that's what I thought when I was editing it. When I watched it back, however, I personally found it fascinating the way my brain coped with dimensions, layers, things that didn't line up, because anyone who knows me knows I like things in a square, in a box, nicely lined up, and that these things weren't lined up. Although if you look at Darcy's original envelope journal and you look at mine as it's progressing, there's still Ceri lining things up within it. It's just a little more loosely lined up, should we say. So anyway, but I went ahead and posted it because I felt if I found it fascinating, one or two of you may do, and apparently you did, so I'm happy about that. However, for number 3, I didn't really want to subject you to another hour of me gluing and gluing and gluing, because the next step in the process was to decorate the panels and the envelopes with pieces of paper or tissue paper, or just to enhance the overall aesthetic of it before we went to the journal card and journal tag making and the actual decoration with ephemera and pieces. So what I've done is I decided not to film that part of the process, and actually I'm quite glad I didn't film it because it took me over 2 hours to do, and not filming it gave me the chance to actually explore what colour combinations or patterns I wanted to use. There was also another thing in this journal too. I had personally struggled with finding out what is the purpose of a journal, this journal. Now, I like to create writing journals, I like to create art journals, and for me, this didn't really fit into either criteria, so again, out of my comfort zone. And it's taken me a while to come to some conclusion as to what I want to use this journal for. And it was only when I came to a decision of what the purpose of the journal was for that I can go into the next step of how to actually lay the journal out as far as tags, journal cards, writing space, maybe not writing space, how I want to use it. And I've decided that this journal, I'm keeping this journal. I mean, I was always going to keep this journal anyway. This journal for me is going to be a celebration of colour, which it is. I mean, I've used all different colours in this, not stayed with one theme. There's quite a lot of warm tones in it, or the warm family in it, which is the reds, the oranges, the yellows, because I prefer those. However, it has a lot of colour in it, and normally I would stay with a theme or a plan. I went, no, I'm just going to put down things that I like, because if there's one thing I admired about Darcy when she did hers, she stuck it down here, there and everywhere, and I was like, oh my god, that is such a mess. But by the end of it, it was absolutely stunning and beautiful. So back to something I say to myself and you guys a lot, which is trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. It'll work. And now I've got the journal to the point where all of the envelopes are in, they're all established. I have taken one envelope back out. I'll explain that when I do the flip through of it. All of the panels are decorated with tissue or paper. None of the pockets have been cut, none of the ephemera has been cut, nothing has been decorated except the base of it, and that's where I want to start this video. Now, this is video number 3. I don't want to go past video number 4, so I'm going to do parts of the process, explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to be pausing you, jumping off, doing those and coming back to you, because I do know that the decorating of the journal is going to take a lot of doing time-wise. I've also now worked out what I think I want on the front cover, and I've actually now worked out what I think I need as a closure. So all of those things, it's been about 3 days since I filmed the second video, and I needed the idea to marinate in my brain. So hopefully I can get that done. I am hoping also tomorrow to get the video done of the decorating. Now, if you don't see that one coming up in the next week, it's because I'm about to start traveling. I'm going to be gone from home for 2 weeks. I'm not going to be able to video. I have already pre-videoed enough videos to cover my whole way from home. So put it this way, the final video where I decorate and do the final flip through, maybe in 2 weeks time, it may be in 3 days time. So just bear with me on that, guys. It's just the workload is enormous at the moment, and I'm doing what I can do. Right, I have spent 6.5 minutes gassing to you. We need to flip this camera around. Let's see where I've got up to. Let's give you a quick flip through, and then let's start the next bit of the process, cutting the pockets, talking about the writing panels, and also cutting the masterboards, which are pre-made masterboards by me from the past. And I didn't tell you what my purpose for my envelope journal is going to be. I'm going to use this envelope journal to capture quotes and sayings. So we all go through life and we all have those favorite little sayings. Like one of my mother's favorite sayings is, I don't even know whether she coined it or she made it up or she took it from someone else. She always said, many a drip makes an ocean. And she used that a lot when she was talking about earning money. Lots of little income streams made a big income stream. And I do use lots of drips make an ocean a lot, and that'll be one of the quotes that goes in there. Also, by giving myself spaces within this journal to write these down, I'll be forcing myself to handwrite them, which means it challenges me to write a little clearer, because my handwriting is absolutely dire. So never mind. Right, go turn this camera over. We're going to get on with it, and I will see you on the table. Bye now. So let's have a really quick flip through and see where I got to with this. There are a few problems I cured and a few things have changed. So this is the front cover. I added a piece here to cover up the flap from before, and I painted this gold line over the join. Just to that nod, I can never pronounce the name of it. It's a Japanese, I believe, where they break china and then they attach it together again with gold. It's something I just thought it might be a nice little nod to put that in there because it gave a reason for the join. I'll discuss the cover and the closure and everything in the next video when I get around to doing it. So, opening the journal up. Okay, we're here now. A lot of what you see is the original envelopes. However, they've all been enhanced with pieces of tissue or bits of paper. A lot of the tissue I've used has been gifted to me or has been stuff that I've made using other people's stencils. So I'm not going to be able to say hello to everybody because I probably will not remember it all. I do think this is all from Rhonda Donar though. I loved how that was. As you can see, none of the envelopes have their openings made. So this is the first panel. Lifted up, I've decorated all the way to it because I'm going to cut that off. And the reason for cutting that short is I want to be able to have room down here to have a tab sticking out of it. And if I cut it to there, it would be below the bottom of the edge of the book. This here, I put a pocket on here, and this was from Darcy. She actually sent me this, so I made a pocket out of it. And the reason why is this is the message from Darcy that she sent me, and I wanted to put that in there, and that will just finish that off beautifully. And that's my nod to Darcy. It'll always remind me that this was Darcy's journal idea. So this pocket here, decorated here, this was also from someone else, cannot remember, but the colours matched perfectly for me, and it reinforced this a little bit. Again, these are just some tissue papers I had in my stash. Hopefully you can see all that across there. Just anywhere where there was a join or a flap or something, I reinforced it a little bit with tissue or paper. That was part of one of the envelopes that I actually cut off up because I had too many of them. Again, decorated. Here is that little envelope. I think that, I love that. And I think that's from Rhonda as well. This was that little envelope. I made it into a flap down. I reinforced the top edge because it's quite a thin envelope. And I put this piece in here that goes inside a little bit just to actually strengthen that as well. So that's the first side. I'm sort of getting used to how this all closes now. There you go. And then that closes over there. The second half, right, again, envelope, reinforced it. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Again, didn't do anything on there because I really liked that. I left it as it was. Again, this was a brayer off and tissue paper, stuff like this. Again, left this one as it was because I really enjoyed the look of it. I've done the same here. I've left the top here because I'm going to cut that off so that the journal card or tag will go in there. This is where there was a pink envelope and it didn't work. It was in there fine, it flapped and everything. However, it was that shimmery or pearlized pink with white dots on it. It just didn't go. So I cut the envelope out, put this in, and this is Peacock Swirls, I think. I think that's by Darcy as well. And I think these are from Darcy as well. I use papers as I said from other people. This will probably just have panels on it for writing and it'll have decoration. So that's that one. Then this one, I can't remember in the first video whether I put a notch in there. I decided not to make that a top loading pocket. As you can see, I did reinforce here a little bit. This is inside the original envelope, so I put some tissue in there to come across here to join the two together. I think on here I'm going to cut all the way down here so I have two pockets because each of them will fold into here so nothing's going to fall out of them. Onto the back. Now, at the end of the last video, I discovered this envelope was too wide. It was out about here. So my solution was, hopefully you can see it, there's a line here. What I did was I cut this piece off the edge of the envelope. Then I slotted the envelope into itself and then re-glued it so that it all lined up. And to be honest, it's almost invisible. But what it did narrow the envelope down a bit. Again, more papers again. And I had this piece of card with this leaf stamped on it. And I thought that goes lovely with this. So I put that there as additional pocket. And that's it. So that's where I'm up to. So first thing I'm going to do, I think, is actually I'm going to, let's cut the pockets. Right. Now, I'm not as brave as Darcy. I'm not going to go straight in with a pair of scissors and just cut the edges off. I'm also not going to work with the guillotine, but what I am going to do is I am going to draw myself a straight line on each of the pieces that I actually cut, and I'm doing that purely because I know me, I can't cut a straight line. So I'm just going to put a line down here, and it's only enough for me to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to cut this off. Now, something Darcy didn't do, and I don't think I'm going to do it either, is when you cut one of these envelopes, of course, you're going to have the inside visible. Now, if it's a plain envelope like that, that's not a problem. However, if it's an envelope that has maybe been a recycled envelope with something on the inside, then probably you do need to do something with it. But that's your choice, right? I'm just going to cut a notch. Do I want a notch in this? Do I want a notch in this? Yes, I do. I do want a notch. I don't mind if that little bit shows, and I've just noticed a little bit here is coming away. I'm just going to glue that, and I think that's where the envelopes got really wet when I was working on them. And envelope glue is not meant to be a forever glue. It's a water-based glue, so. Right, so that's that one done. Now this one, I just need to cut straight across here, and I've already got the line of the envelope, so I'm not even going to bother drawing that one. That can come off. So therefore that goes up there. I'm not going to, am I? See, it's got a natural inside, but yes, I do want to put, I'm debating whether I want thumb notches in things, and today I've decided I want thumb notches. Yesterday I wasn't going to put thumb notches. Now this one with the Darcy thing in, the Darcy tag, I'm going to cut it down slightly and make it a top loading pocket. So I'm just going to come in before I start and do a little snip down there. And then line this up. That's a pretty good guess, Griffiths. I'm going to come across here and I'm going to snip to that little snip I've made. Now, of course, I can erase any marks I've made on there. Now, I think this one will have a tab, so it won't need a pocket, a notch. This one, I think I want to take this quite close to this so that I can have something sticking out. So let's line it up with that. Is that straight? That's been one of my bugbears, is trying to get things straight. That's about straight. I don't think the thing I've stuck on there is straight, but I'm trying to keep parallel to the edge of the envelope. This one will also not have a notch, purely because if I do a notch, I'll cut into the piece of artwork someone else has sent me. So this one, see, this has got like the inside of one of those envelopes that's printed. Might or might not bother me. Now, I don't mind this. Do I want this top or bottom? I want this side as well. Let's trim it down here. Hopefully I'm in shot for all of this. I only need to take a little piece off this one. So yes, I'm getting a little more confident with this envelope journal, purely because I now know the direction it's going in. When I first started, I literally grabbed a handful of envelopes and started gel printing on them. See, that one's plain inside, I don't mind that. Oh, seems like it's got stuck together. There you go, I knew it would only just be a little bit if it is stuck. Right, so I think we've done all of the envelopes. So this one already has an opening. This one now has a side. Do I want to tuck in that? No, because I can put a tab on that. That one is that one, no. See, it's like Jenga, isn't it? That one there, that one. So those are all done. Right. I think I'd quite like a top pocket here. So again, where's that little scissors gone? I'm just going to snip down and draw across here. Now, the reason I'm snipping and not just cutting willy-nilly all the way to the spine is I'm leaving a little bit of the spine here attached with all the reinforcement on it. So it means that I'm not weakening that join. There you go. And I thought this sort of envelope. Right, this is just a regular envelope. So let's make sure it's fully unstuck in there. I think I would like a notch in the top of this one. I'm not overly worried that they're centralized. Right, that could be a top. This one we'll deal with in a minute. Right, this one could also be a top loading pocket, same as before. Now, don't forget, guys, as I say to you 1,000 times, if you want to fast forward, I am more than happy for you to fast forward. I'm never going to complain about that whatsoever. Well, in fact, I never know whether you've done it or not. So a little bit of a snip down there. So Darcy's probably sat there shaking her head now going, there he goes with the ruler. But Darcy did give you guys alternatives to cutting these anyway, so let's see if that's free. Just making sure I haven't stuck things together in the envelopes. Oh, that one's got a red interior. Right, that's cool. So I've lost track already. Right, that one, this one needed the top cut off. And I already left that line there for me to cut. That will have a tag with probably a tab on top. Right, close, close, close. Right, this one, I have to be a little bit, so hopefully all this spinning things around isn't causing anyone illness of any sort. Not my intent. Right, now I'm going to cut this all the way up. Now, these envelopes should be independent of each other because there's a join there, there's a flap there, there's actually gluing over the top. So I am almost certain I should not have a problem. So, but famous last words and all of that stuff. Oh, it's a bit harder where I put the extra tissue there to reinforce it. Okay. Now these, that's a mailer, that's a small one. These can have tabs on them to put them in there. So all of those are done. All of those are done. That folds into there. Right, onto the back pockets. Now, I wanted to make these two top loading pockets purely because if they were sticking out the side here, any binding I put around here is likely to damage them. So let's go down this edge. I can do this. So again, I just started doing that wrong, didn't I? Ooh, good catch, Griffiths. I just said do the top and I did the side. Let's just get rid of this. That was a close call, people. That was a close call. I nearly really messed that up. So what's that thing about measure twice, cut once? That may be one of the quotes that goes in here, just to remind me to do it. Right. Snip down just slightly there. And in shot you are in shot. It's amazing how much just a gel print or a bit of wet strength tissue can strengthen up these pockets. Right, what's the inside of this one look like? That's white. No, I can have something sticking up there. Right, this one needs a little bit of a snip as well. Now to be careful here, I've made myself enough space above that pocket to actually cut without cutting this pocket. So a little bit of forethinking there. Try not to cut the other pockets as I go through. Right, I think, therefore I am, all of these are cut right. That's cut, that's cut, that's cut, that's cut, that's cut, that's cut, that's cut. Is it cut? It is cut. This is cut, that's cut, that's cut, that already is. That's cut, that's cut, that's cut. Right. So basically, we're at the place where I'm happy now. Now I've got the pockets designated, I can move forward. Right. Now, my thinking for the capturing of the quotes. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on these pages. It is quite busy to the eye. I personally love it, but that's fine. I know when Darcy did hers, she used one of her own digitals where they were quite large panels with stuff put on them. And I thought I want to play with something along those ideas. So what I've done is I coffee-dyed myself some paper and I want to choose paper that's kind of like that's watermarked. And that's a bit watermarked. Let's just pull those two out for a second. Now what I want to do, and I'm only going to do one of these, and I'm going to turn the camera off or pause the camera, then I'm going to come back, and actually once I come back all of these will be done. I want to tear with the tear ruler, so I've got a bit of a deckled edge. I want to tear panels that go into these and are stuck down. So maybe this one will have a panel there and a panel there. This one may just have a panel there, say. This one might have a tall panel there. Just working my way through. This one may just have one panel in the middle there or something. I don't know, I did play. And the reason for the panels is that's where I can actually put the quotes. And also, I don't have ephemera this large. Like if I pull in like my largest pieces of ephemera really are these sort of things. That's not going to fill a whole page. But if there's a writing panel and that was down there, I'm not saying it's going to be a bat. Do you know what I mean? Then the ephemera decoration will link the panel to the background. And then don't forget, each of these is going to have something in them as well. So I'm just going to do the very first one, just so you can see how I'm going to do it. And then I will pause the camera and we'll take it from, and I'll get these sorted out. So I'm just going to come down and I'm going to take, why am I not lining that up? Now, if you've got one of Tim Holtz's Decolled trimmers, of course, you can do this with a Decolled trimmer, but I don't. I've got a ruler, it was a lot cheaper, and I'm happier with it. Right, so I want on this front one, probably about there. Now, I do small batches of coffee dye when I need them. And I normally do it with a brush, some coffee, I paint on it in a bowl. Yeah, that's about right. So I just need to think for a second. Right, if I do about there. I usually do them in a bowl which is actually a cat litter bowl, a cat litter tray, and I usually brush it with just a paintbrush. Well, actually, here's a very paintbrush. I just brush the coffee on there and I usually let it just air dry. If I do it in the summer, I can do it outside and it dries quite quickly. If I'm doing it in the studio, I just basically just leave it sit in the studio. Right, I want a bit off this side. So, and I also, I'm going to save that just in case I need it for something. I also have no objection to buying coffee dyed paper, and I have in the past bought coffee dyed paper, because to me the most precious commodity is time. I would rather spend a couple of dollars and buy a pack of coffee dyed paper than spend a couple of hours producing coffee dyed paper, although in the summertime it's a bit of a joy. Now I am going to ink the edges because I think that will really help the dynamic of what I'm doing. Now, if you're doing this and you're gluing to an acrylic surface, choose your glues wisely. I know Darcy used art glitter glue for all of hers. I'm actually going to go back to using my Pritt stick to actually put the panels on the pages. The reason for that is purely because if it starts to peel up, I'll then attach the bits that came off with art glitter glue. So I'm just going to come in. Now, I am reasonably heavy-handed with my glue sticks. So for those of you who say you don't trust a glue stick, then it could be you're not putting enough on the glue on the surface. Now I'm going to come in. I'm just going to pop that on there. I'm just going to use a store card or a gift card just to smooth it down. Make sure that's level. So I need to lift it up to see it's not level. That's level enough for me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to work through the entire journal, putting these panels where I want to put the panels. And then I'll bring you back and then we'll go in and look at some masterboards and start cutting them to actually make the journal cards that will go into all of these slots. So bear with me, guys. I'll be back in 2 seconds for you. It'll probably be about half an hour for me. And I'm back. And I am also generally surprised. This is all I've got left of 5 sheets of A4 paper, which I put in here. Sorry about the sunshine, can't help the sunshine. Sunshine's here, sunshine's good. So, I don't think I'm ever going to run out of space in this journal for quotes, to be honest with you, because there's so many panels in here now. I'll do a flip through and then we'll work on getting the masterboards cut up. So, as you can see, I tried to put it so that it didn't distract from the colours in the background, but leaving me places, so maybe there'll be something here coming up over it, maybe there's something nurtured in the corner, maybe there'll be nothing at all, maybe there'll be a flower there. So these are genuinely what we've got now. So as you can see, nice big panel, but also equally a nice space if I want to put something there I can. If not, I'll leave it as it is. I didn't put anything there because I absolutely adore that. And this is about who inspired this journal. More again, I couldn't bring myself to cover up a lot of this. There may be a transparent flower on there or something, I'm not sure. So I tried to vary the panels. Obviously things are lined up. That's me, guys, you know me. Loving this. I put this here so that it's revealed. So maybe there's a bit of a quote and then the person who said it there. There's a piece there, and this little bit down here is probably where I'm going to sign and date this journal, because I try to always sign and date all of my journals. Where are we? Back. No, back. Right. I'm still getting used to turning the pages on this. So again, more journaling spots. Well, not journaling, more quotation spots. And it could be, I'll put a bit of a poem in here if it's what I want. Or if I was going to be someone who saw a psalm, say, I wanted to put in here. Not that I normally include psalms, but if someone else is thinking of it, this could be a gratuity, not a gratuity. What is it? Not gratuity, what is it? You know what I mean, where you're grateful every day for things that you've done. I've got it stuck in my brain, gratuity. That's not what it is. Gratitude. That's what I was saying. So if this was a gratitude journal for someone and you wanted to put something like psalms or hymns in it, you could. So there you go. That's nicely covered up, but I haven't lost all this. This line bothers me, but as I know that I'm going to put something across it, so let's just say, let's go back to our friend the bat. Say the bat was across there, then I wouldn't see the line anymore. So I've let myself have space to be able to play. So, oops, that goes there, that closes down, that comes over. Tall, thin there, so maybe this could be a list of quotes, maybe all by the same person. Again, I quite like that little one. It's going to challenge me writing that small. Again, panel, and obviously that's for ephemera. So I like where we're at. Let's get on with cutting masterboards. Right, now those who have followed me on a regular basis have seen this before. This is my 12 by 12 scrapbook that I found in a thrift shop for £3. And this is where, when my scraps get a little bit too large or I'm ending a project and I've got ends of digitals, I make masterboards out of them. Now I'm not going to do a flip through of it all because I'm trying to be economical on space. I need to find the one I'm looking for. Right. I did this masterboard a while ago because I was using up stuff. This, in my opinion, is the perfect thing for this journal. So that can come out. It's the first one I've torn out, guys. Oh, God, this paper's hard. Now, the backs of this are white. I'm likely to leave it white because if I keep backing stuff, it's going to add to the bulk of this journal, and already it's feeling a bit stuffed. Right, so that's there. Then there was another one I had in here that I might use. Right, there was this one, and this was made just from some of my arty labels. You probably seen me make arty labels before now, but this was just another use for them. Now, if I do get to the point where I've run out of these, I do have these, which are from a boho journal kit by Rach and Bella Craft. And they've got bright colours in them as well. That one especially, I quite like that one anyway. But do you mean, so it could be that I jump, do I need to, let's take this one anyway. Goodness me, make up your mind, Griffiths, that's what I say. Right, so I've got 3 12 by 12s. That should be enough. If there's more needed, I can always just dive into my batch of ephemera, because I do know there's some painty ephemera in there. Maybe I can jump in and use some of that. Right, let's put this out of the way. and bring in my guillotine. So it's guillotine time, guys. Anyone who doesn't like the noise of a guillotine, I apologize. It's what I work with, it's what I've got. So I'm just going to trim the rough edge off of these, just so that we're not seeing strips of white. These are really nice and sturdy, so they could be tags, they could be journal cards. I'm unsure at the moment. So I'm going to start with this one, because it's my favourite anyway. So it's going to be a bit of measure and cut, measure and cut, measure and cut. So let's start with the biggest ones first, so this. So what is this going to end up being? If I say 5.5, 5.5 by 7.5. Let's do 5.5 by 7.5. Now, I'm not going to worry about where I cut these. I'd rather go that way though, to be honest. I got the wrong way around, me this way. 7.5. I just said I'm not going to worry about where I cut these, and I immediately worry about where I cut them. So 5.5 is there. Quite like this end, to be honest with you. That's 5.5. That's a nice big journal card. I'm just going to put them straight into the pockets, just so I know what belongs where. And then later on, I will go through and, why does that feel like it's sticking? I will go through and I'll round all the corners, because I like to round the corners. There you go, a little bit of glue in there. And then when I come to decorating, we know which ones go where. So I'm going to try and do the large ones first, because why wouldn't I? Right, this was quite a large one, wasn't it? So this one is 5. I can do 5 by 7.5 again, actually. So that's 7.5. 7.5 by 5. So I'm not really showing where I'm putting these, am I? I'm also working on the biggest pockets first, because that will evenly distribute this design. Right, hanging on to that, you never know when I might need to make a small tag. If not, it'll go into my ephemera. Right, I wanted to come all the way to here, because there's a really big pocket here. So this is going to be, if I say about 5 by 8, is that enough? Big enough? I'm going to lose that if I put that in that pocket. Right, let's go on to this one. So I said about 5, didn't I? Let's do 5.5 by about 8, I think I said. So this should fit in there. There's something stuck at the bottom. I'm surprised what it is, because I don't think I put glue in there. That's going to need a little bit trimmed off it. I think it's just where things are curving. There you go, that goes in there. Right. This one could do with something now. Right, this is a top loader. Would you fit in there by chance? You would. Right, let's just cut you off along that line. So that can go in there. So I'm hoping that as I do this, the smaller offcuts become parts for other ones. Just leave that sticking out, or I'll never remember it's there. Like this one will probably fit into one of these pockets. Actually, there was a pocket on the back, wasn't there? Wait, where's it gone? No, that's too short. Right, I'll put that to one side. We'll work on that as I go along. Right, so this one needs something. It didn't fit in there, did it? It could fit in there. Let's take a little bit off there. There's a little bit of a white edge on that. That's going to drive me a little bit to distraction. Now, some of these may never get decorated, because you know my view is something's actually beautiful, why decorate it? And I absolutely love these. A lot of these are my designs. So that fits on there. So this one's done. Why are you going down in that pocket? Have I got some gluage happening? Yes, I did have a bit of glue down there. Even though I was really careful, the glue spreads. Right, that can stay there. Don't mind that sticking out. Or do I? Yes, I do. Let's take a shave off the top of there. Only because I'll have white showing on the back. As I said, I'm probably going to put tags on some of these anyway. So that one is done. That one is done. That one is done. Hopefully you can see me, guys. I'm struggling a bit for space. Right, this one needs something. Right, it's a bit small. Is it going to fit in there? Be very happy if you do. You do. Right, let's go to just where that curly Q is. So that can go in there. It's going to be an enormous amount of writing space in this journal. Right, so it's only this one. Now, one of these little ones could probably go in there. But it needs to go in there, but it needs to be short enough that I can lift up and fold up that pocket. Yes, maybe I need to put a thumb notch in that one. Oh, totally missed it. Why didn't I get hold of you? There you go. Right, so I can get that out of there. That's fine. So, right. So I think that's all of these done. So this little one is done. So can you see me? You can't see me. Right, this little one is done. This one has got one. This one has got one. This one doesn't have one at the top. Right. A bit shorter than that. Use a little bit more. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, that. Rounding the corners will actually help putting these in and out of pockets as well. So why don't you go in there? I might have had blue slippage here. Why are you not going in? Right. Investigation time, I feel. There you go. So that can just slide in there like that. And that's going to have a tab on the top. So this one, did I do anything? Right, this needs a top loader. And funnily enough, I've got a piece here that might just do it. That's top loader. That's a top loader. This has got, right, I think all of those are done. Right. Ooh, folded that over in a nasty kind of way. Right, this one has got one. Has this one had one yet? No, that needs one. Right, we are going to have to go to the next one of these. It's not my expected plan. Right. Let's see if that's going to be. Right. I quite like that butterfly on there because it means that it's already a decorated piece. I don't like the way I've just sliced that though. Right, let's turn it in upside down so I can see how far in it needs to go. Right, just below the edge of that there. Right, so then that can go into that pocket. So that pocket's done. Where we're not in shot again, are we? That pocket's done, that pocket's done. This pocket has got something. That pocket's got something. This needs something. Now, didn't I have a small piece somewhere? Not quite going to do it for me. It's another small piece. Let's hold off on that one a minute. Right, so I've got this long one here, and I'm looking at this thinking, if I cut this down here, that will give me a pre-made one that I won't have to decorate, which speeds up our decorating time. And if I come in about there, so that puts that into there, which is fine. Right, where's that bit I just cut off? Right, that could work because it can be decorated up, but it needs a little bit off the side. Is that enough? Nope, needs more than that. Go in there. Something's blocking the edge of that. Even though I was careful, the glue moved around when I squished it down inside. Nothing you can't repair though. I quite like to take that down a bit, only because it's my intent to put a tab on the edge of here. So that can go in there. That one's done. This one's done. Right, we're on the home straight, guys. Ooh, we're on the home straight, and this is all I got. Where did that come from? Oh, whew, I thought I'd run out of 12 by 12 then. Right, this is a top loader. If I cut this to about there, that might give me the right size for here. Gonna go in there. That feels a little bit squishy. Let's take a bit off the edge of there. See, some of these are wonderful. They may just need a quote or something on there, and I've got plans for wording and labels on these. Right, that's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind if it's got that on there. I will do something about that. Maybe a strip of washi or something on the top edge. I'm not sure yet. Or it could just be that it lives the way it is. It could be that it just... Come out here. It could be that it just goes this way in. I'm not trying to avoid white on the back of things. I'm just putting stuff in. Right, so we've got this one and this one. Right, this feels like it could go in there. What's the more interesting side? So that off there. Right, so that's in there. So I'm short. Oh, it has to be cut down. I'm going to break something if I don't do that. Right, so that folds in there. So I'm just missing, or did I do it already? Did I do one? I didn't do one. Right, so I'm actually short one piece of ephemera. Right. Let's see if I can cut off a piece of a 12 by 12 without taking it out of the scrapbook. Where's that? So just fall on the floor like this here. Right, this is a ring bound piece, so I should be able to do it. I need to just find out how wide this is going to need to be. Approximately 4.5 inches. So pretty much up to there. Let's just see if I can manipulate this into the cutter. I don't mind cutting my 12 by 12s up. It's just that I've already got a box full of ephemera. I don't need another box full of ephemera. Right. Oh, let's put that to one side. So, right, so basically I've got this piece now. And first of all, will you fit in there? You will fit in there. You're a little bit snug. Just take the slightest edge off that. Now, don't mind it sticking up, so let's take it all the way to that upper edge. I don't mind that. So I think we've done it. Let's get rid of this. And what have we got left out of this? Right, these can be turned into journal cards or tags. That can't. That might go into a cluster though. Journal cards or bits for my ephemera box, that's not a problem. Right, where am I up to time-wise? Right, I think I'm going to call time on this video. We'll do a quick flip through now just to make sure that I haven't missed any pockets. And then by the time you see this journal next, I will have gone through and I will have rounded all of the corners with the corner punch. And yes, people asking, yes, I did buy another corner rounder. So I've got a new one now, so I know that it works. I will also make the decision as to whether I'm going to back them with coffee dye paper, because now I know how bulky this is. I've got a better indication of how much I can pad it out with more coffee dye paper. I did make enough coffee dye paper in case I needed it. Right, so this one has got one. 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 This one has. This one has. This one has. Right, so we have achieved liftoff on that one, guys. This one. Now, when they're upwards, I might make these into a tag shape. I'll decide that when it comes to it. This one's got a big one. This has got one in it. This has got one in it. So has that. I've got a large one in there. Got one in there, and one in there. We're done. Okay, whew, right. Now, in the next video, we're basically going to decorate. I'm going to pull all of my ephemera out. Because this is just a completely now eclectic journal, I am going to do my damnedest to just decorate this. I'm not going to get it all done in one video. I'm absolutely certain I'm not. So I will do as much as I can with you. As I said, the front cover and the closure, I'll decide. I don't know whether I can do it with you, because if I do it with you, then I'm going to have to sacrifice decorating something else. It could be that I just go through my ephemera box and see whether I've got one pre-made that I could put on there actually. What's the time? Let's try and do that now. So what I'm trying to think of is I've got some of these larger journal cards here in my stash. Obviously that's the wrong orientation. That's okay, don't like that there. That could be altered though. Not sure about that. No. Ooh, really like that. Actually, it's got some of the papers in here as well. I wonder. I like the fact it's got the right papers in here. Some of these designs are actually in here. I like the crow, rook, raven, jackdaw, whatever it is. I quite like the size of this. This is the only little bit that bothers me, but I could put something over that. There's another one that would work maybe. A little bit wide. Right. Now I did make these using Darcy's daisy stamp, but I really think that's just, it's a bit too much even for me, to be honest with you. I thought I had one. So I'm looking through the box, not showing you mine. I thought I had one that had a lot of purple on it. Like that one. That's quite cute, isn't it? I wonder, does that look too much? I think you'd all prefer this to this. And to be honest with you, I love that, but there are certain things that I'm not keen on. This, however, I think I quite like. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. Okay. I will come up with a game plan, and I'll try and do something to make that more than it is ready for the journal. So then put that to one side. So guys, thank you very much for your patience. we've got this far. As I said, I'll make some decisions in the meantime as to whether I'm backing stuff in coffee dyed paper. I'm happy where I'm at the moment. I do need to do the corners and the angles. I need to sort this out. I'm thinking about backing him on a bit of corrugated card, just to make him a little more substantial and give it a little more of a rugged look. And I don't mind the look of corrugated card because this is almost the colour of corrugated card. And then that'll make it substantial enough for me to do the closure, which I'm planning to do. And that means I can speed up the next stage. So all that's left from me to say is I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter, and I'll see you in part 4. Goodbye now.